Hey guys, welcome back to Project Civic Wagon. Today I'm going to show you how to change out the bulbs on the gauge cluster housing and also the heater control panel. My heater control panel no longer lights up at night when I turn the lights on. And on my gauge cluster I have a few bulbs that are out, so I'll have a couple dark spots on the back of the cluster, and the two bulbs that shine down onto the housing itself, one of those is out, so I can tell it's darker on these two needles as compared to the two needles on the left side. First, let's get the heater control panel lights replaced. You're going to need to remove the surrounding housing, and that consists of 4 screws. The first one's here, the second one is right here, you have a third one down here, and the fourth one is in this little hole right here. You'll see it once you look at your area on your car. Once you have all 4 of the screws removed, you can just pull this away. It'll slide down, and then in here you'll need to disconnect the cigarette lighter. Just squeeze down and pull it apart. Then you can pull the cover away from the area. What you're going to want to do next, lower the stereo portion. It's 2 screws, one on each side. Now to get the remaining parts of the heater control panel removed, I'm going to use this one for an example. This is an extra one I have lying around. On the bottom of it in the back, there's this Phillips head screw you're going to need to remove. This piece holds onto this bracket which slides into the dashboard, and it makes it very difficult to move it around after you remove these 3 screws. So with the screwdriver, get up underneath here and just remove this Phillips head screw. Finally remove the last 3 screws holding the heater control panel to the center console. And now to show you what the bulbs we're replacing, there's only 2 on the back of the heater control panel. One is up here in this corner, the other one is down here, right here in this area. This one I had already pulled out, and the way you remove them, when they're in there, all you need to do is spin them like this one. Spin it maybe a quarter turn and it slides out. This other one down here is a little bit harder to get to with your hands. What I like to use, I'll use the little needle nose pliers, and from underneath here I'll spin it loose. So go ahead and get this dropped, pulled away from the center console, just work it out. That's pretty much all the room you'll need. Go ahead and spin this one loose. And we're going to do the bottom one underneath. That one's free also. And once you have the bulbs free, you can turn your lights on. You'll see there's no change in the bulb. What I'm going to do, I left the lights on. I'm going to just pull the bulb out. It just slides straight out. And it's actually a used one. I have a ton of these extra bulbs laying around from extra gauge clusters. So I'm not even putting brand new bulbs in there. I'm using just older ones that I had before I buy brand new ones. The minute you plug it in, you should be able to tell if it works or not. And then you can test it with your lights. And that's easy, very easy to change these, just those 2 bulbs. I'll change the other one right now and then go ahead and reassemble it, and you're done with this portion. If you look closely, these are the 2 sizes of the bulbs that we are replacing today. One is slightly smaller than the other. This one, these 5 are for the back of the gauge cluster. This 2 size, we have 2 in the heater control panel, and the 2 on the top of the gauge cluster which light the housing. I didn't buy new bulbs. I have a bunch from a handful of gauge clusters. Whenever we have one that doesn't work anymore, I always salvage all of the bulbs and the housings. So I have a ton that work, and I'm testing them as I put them in. I'd rather use up all these old bulbs before spending a little bit of cash on the new ones. Might as well get some use out of these. And also because I feel like this is a very easy install for me, that I don't mind doing the work and changing the bulbs if I have to redo it again. Now we're going to move on to the gauge cluster. You have 4 screws you're going to need to remove. This is the first one. Second one is to the left side of the steering column. And behind the cluster itself, you have these little clips that you need to pop out. And I use a really short screwdriver and just kind of feel around because I'm not even looking at it right now. There's 2 screws, one on this side, and there's going to be one closer to the outside of the car. This is the inside one. Get both of those removed. Once you have all 4 of those screws removed, you can slide this forward. Next easiest thing I like to do is push out the hazard button and then push the little clip right in right there and slide off the wiring from it. And you'll do the same to the defrost and the dimmer switch. Push it through. Sometimes it's easier if you have a small pick to squeeze at the clips. Just like that. And the second one. Pull that out. And then this will just come straight up. Now on the back of the cluster you have a couple of clips that you need to get removed. Just squeeze, pull that away. You have a longer one down over here on the side. I'm sorry about the angle, but the camera's up against the glass. Now and squeeze and pull. And then, let's see if I can get it. This is a speedometer cable. It has this little white, there should be a little clip on it. It's on the reverse side here. You're gonna squeeze it and then just pull it away. It's super easy. Now it doesn't want to come away fully because the cluster doesn't move. Once we take off the 4 screws on the front of the cluster, it'll just slide away from the cluster as well. Next, remove the 2 screws on each side. 1, 2. You have the 3rd, 4th one right there. There you go. Speedometer cable, since it was disconnected, it just allowed me to pull it free. And it's completely disconnected now. And there's those 2 wiring clips that I was talking about. You just gotta squeeze down on the outside of both. They're exactly the same. And once you have this moved, now it's easy to change the bulbs. But if you're doing this job during the day, you will need to check these as you put them back in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change them all. I'm gonna plug all 7 back in. And I'm driving back and forth out of my garage. That way I can close the garage door and I can see which ones possibly need to be reversed. You have 5 bulbs on the back that we're gonna need to change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same concept applies to the heater control panel. Just spin a little bit, not even quarter turn, and just slide them straight out. You can go ahead and replace the bulb, put them back in, and go ahead and test those out. The ones on the top, these are also the same. Spin a little bit and pull them out. These are the smaller bulbs that we had talked about, and there's only 2 of those, one right here, and also the other one right here. When you're putting these, when you're testing these out, like say if you pull them into the garage or if you're doing the evening, you need to make sure this one is working first, because if this bulb, if there's no bulb in there or if it's not working, these 2 will not light up. So make sure that one's working as well, and then you can test these at the same time. These are for the check engine light, all the little Lights right here, brake, battery, oil pressure. These two are for the brights and the left blinker. This one is for the right blinker. After you have all of them installed, go ahead and plug your cluster back in. We do not need to plug in the speedometer cable since we're not going to be driving around, nor will it matter. We're just checking for which ones work and which ones are not working. And in order for your lights to work, do not forget to plug back in the dimmer switch. You could be trying to turn them on all day and all night. They will not work unless you have your dimmer switch plugged in. So I would plug in both of these. And we're gonna pull the car into the garage. What I found that worked best for me to check the bulbs if they were on or not was basically just having these plugged in and lifting the cluster up like this. Of course, I was inside my garage, so it was a little easier to tell. You could see when each one was on or off. That's it, guys. After you're done, I finished mine up in the garage. I checked everything. They all work now. And I'm just gonna tighten everything back up and put it back together. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.